My landlord entered my apartment unannounced and removed my curtains while I wasn't at home. Now I am prepared to give him hell. I recently found myself needing a month-to-month lease for between 6 months to 14 months in Baltimore, which I was unfamiliar with. The apartment I found is a small efficiency in an older building. They agreed to a standard lease for the first 6 months, followed by month-to-month lease. I was to be the first tenant. When I toured it 6 weeks ago, workers were painting the rooms. The landlord's son is living upstairs, and this is my landlord's first time renting. The lease was obviously pulled from a form and seemed standard. There is a clause in the lease that states that I can't install curtains, rods, or hooks. This seems standard as well. I had a similar one at my old apartment. I assumed there would be some sort of curtain provided, and this was in regard to additional curtains. I moved in Sunday and found the landlord had not installed curtains at all. At this point, I assumed the issue with curtains was the potential to damage the wall. So, I bought tension rods that require no hardware and used them to hang curtains. Monday afternoon I got a text from my landlord saying I needed to remove the curtains. The building is on a street corner with a fair amount of foot traffic. Between the 4 windows, you can see all of my apartment with the exception of the portion of the bathroom with the toilet and tub. Not only does this mean I have no privacy, but the neighborhood is slightly sketchy after dark. The nearby buildings have bars on their windows. Anyone passing by not only can see my possessions but also whether or not I am home. I expressed this to the landlord in my reply over text. He replied to reread my lease. I left them up overnight. I had orientation this morning and came back to find the curtains removed and nowhere in the apartment. I discovered this before entering the building, as 2 guys were outside one of my windows and looking in my apartment. They left when I entered the building. I messaged the landlord saying he didn't have the right to enter the apartment and ask for the curtains back. He again said to check my lease and then commented that I needed to finish unpacking as it looked messy in my apartment. I had to head to a work event so I couldn't follow through more, but I moved my electronics to one corner and used a bookshelf to block one of the windows so they weren't visible. While at the event, I got a text from the landlord with a picture of the blocked window, captioned, "What's this? What can I do to prevent my landlord from entering the apartment unannounced and to compel him to allow some form of curtain? Alternatively, how do I break my lease 3 days into it? This is too crazy for week 1. Update, it looks like I'm staying, but I took control of the situation." Not long after posting, it became apparent at work that the length of time I would be needed on this project is significantly lower than outside estimates originally said. Finding new arrangements seemed impossible. I mentioned what was going on at dinner, and included at the table was the company's lawyer, who I know, who offered to review the lease on an unofficial basis. Wednesday morning, I called police about the stolen curtains because I wanted a paper trail. They gave me a police report, but were uninterested in speaking to my landlord. I reported the theft to my insurance, and gave them the info on who stole them, text from landlord, and they said they would contact someone in the city. It's only $200, but it's the point of the thing. I next bought room dividers, which in no way, shape or form can be considered curtains, blinds, etc., but block the windows while still letting in light. They were only $40 each. At the same time, I searched the whole apartment, vents, lights, etc., and can't find any cameras as someone suggested. By that time, my friend who is a lawyer called me. She did a little review of the lease and the local laws. She said Baltimore has really shaky laws on when a landlord can come in, but pointed out that in my lease there is a clause that says the landlord will notify 48 hours prior to entrance and will call prior to entering in case of emergency. She drafted me a letter to send to my landlord. Her name won't appear anywhere but said it could be on my company's letterhead. The letter details some of my rights as a tenant, quotes the lease, and reminds him he is bound by these rules as well. I signed and sent it immediately. I had mentioned wanting a security camera, and my company is arranging to have a camera sent that will automatically upload video off-site, work for an hour battery life if the electricity is out, and operate on cellular so it doesn't need Wi-Fi. It will be here tomorrow. I also decided to send my PS4 and my cameras back to my home. My personal and business laptops I will just keep with me while I am out of the apartment. This leaves the only real valuables as my TV and the security camera itself. Everything else is books, clothes, and kitchen things. I ordered a sign for outside that says the property is monitored by security cameras and got a jamb for the door that holds it closed while I am inside. I'm prepared for the landlord to make my life hell, but if he breaks the lease my plan is to ask the company to move me into an extended stay hotel for the duration of my trip. It will be more expensive for them, but that's company policy for trips of less than 4 months. At the moment, I feel as safe as I can in this situation. Update 2. Landlord texted me, "Sweetie, I didn't think you'd be like this." Responded, "I'm not you, sweetie, I'm your tenant. My name is. Please use it."